This is page 2 of Arithmetic Sequences and Series. I'm going to give you hints for these problems. Now remember, we are going to be using these formulas from the formula sheet. The top formula is to figure out the term. Okay, so the next number in the series, or the 50th number in the series. The sequence. Okay. Now this equation, which has two equations actually, there's the first part and then there's the second version. This is used to add up all the numbers. So if you think about the investigation that you guys did where you had those funny triangles, right? The first equation is if you say, hey, I want to figure out what the height is for the fourth column, then you would use this equation. Okay. Now, if you said I want to add up the first column until the 10th column, then you're going to use this equation. Okay. So that's the difference between the sum equation and the term equation. Okay. So let's start then. The nth term of a sequence is given by the formula, and then it gives a formula which kind of looks like this formula, doesn't it? Write down the first two terms. So let's see. The first term would be term 1. Okay. So the first term would be u1 equals 12 plus 7 times 1, which is just 19, right? And the second term would be 12 plus 7 times 2, which would be 12 plus 14, which is 26. Okay. Write down the common difference. Okay, there's two ways to see the common difference. One is, well, the common difference is the step size. And if you look at this formula, you can kind of see that the step size is 7 because every time n increases, the value of the term jumps by 7. So you could say the common difference is 7 from looking at that. The other way you could do it is you could compare the first term 19 with the second term 26. The common difference is the difference of those, which is also 7, right? 26 minus 19. Find the 25th term. 25th term you would find with u, 25 is equal to 12 plus 7, and what's n? 25. Okay, so that is how you do number 10. Okay. 7b number 1. Here are the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence: 1, 6, 11, 16, 21. You can already kind of see the things that they're going to ask. They're going to ask you maybe what comes next. They're going to ask you what the common difference is. Let's see. What are they going to ask? A. Write down the 6th number in the sequence. Okay, so the first 5 numbers are 1, 6, 11, 16, 21. Now, how would you find the next term? Well, in an arithmetic sequence, you find the next term by adding the common difference, right? The common difference here is the step size. So I can see that it's jumping by 5s, right? Okay, so that's the common difference is 5. They don't ask you what the common difference is, but you need the common difference to figure out the next terms. So this is 5 terms. The last term is 21. If I want to find the 6th term, then I would take 21 and add 5. And that gives me 26. So the 6th term is 26. Calculate the 50th term. Okay, so now we have the common difference, and we have the first term. If you have the common difference in the first term, then you can use the equation to figure out the 50th term, right? And remember, the equation is un equals u1 plus n minus 1 times d. And so u1 is 1, right? And d is 5. And n minus 1 would be 50 minus 1. So u of 50 is equal to 1 plus 50 minus 1 times 5. Okay. C, calculate the sum of the first 50 terms of the sequence. Oh, this is our first time using the sum equation. The sum equation is this equation here. There's two different versions. There's one which is similar to our investigation. In our investigation, we found out that if you have a triangle-like shape like we had that we cut out, if we want to find out the area of this triangular area, what we did is we measured the height of this side, the height of this side, and then we took the average and we made a rectangle that was the height of the average, and the width would be the width here, which would be the number of terms. Okay? And then you could find the area of all the columns. And that's basically what we're doing here when we take this equation here, which is basically that the sum of n terms is equal to the first term plus the last term divided by 2. That's the average, right? Does that look familiar? Multiplied times the width, which is n. Okay, so this is the formula you guys derived in the investigation. So now I'm going to say, okay, the sum of the first 50 terms is equal to n, which is 50, times u1, which is 1, and u50, we don't know that yet, divided by 2. Now what's u50? u50 we can figure out using the term equation, okay? So we could say, let's see, u50 is equal to, oh, well, actually we already did figure out u50. I just didn't multiply it out here. u50 is 1 plus 49 times 5. So let's calculate that on our calculator. Okay, I'm having trouble with the calculator. Okay, so u50 is equal to 1 plus so 1 plus 49 times 5 is 246. So u50 is 246. And so I just put that in for here. Okay, so our answer is 50 times 1 plus 246 divided by 2. Okay? Next one. The first 4 terms of arithmetic sequence are 12, 8, 4, 0. Now this is our first arithmetic sequence that is going down, but it's still an arithmetic sequence because the step size is always the same. In this case, the step size is 4, or better, negative 4, right? Each step is negative 4 lower than the last one. So write down the nth term of this sequence. You use the same equation again, except now they're just saying the nth term, so you don't even need to plug in any n. You just use the equation. u1 is 12, n is n, and the common difference is negative 4, remember. Okay, so that's your equation. Find the sum of the first 80 terms of the sequence. Okay, so in this case, we're looking for the sum of the 80 terms, right? And since we do not know u80, we can use this equation here. Do you see how there's the first equation, which is n divided by 2 times the quantity 2u1 plus n minus 1 times d. All they did was they substituted this equation into here. Okay, but just use the first part. If you do not know u of n, you just use this one here. So it's s of n equals n divided by 2, times 2u1 plus n minus 1d. 2u1 plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, and of course n is 80, right? So I can erase that. I could put 40, because it's n divided by 2 is 80 divided by 2. u1 is 12, right? So it's actually 2 times 12. N minus 1 is 79. And d is negative 4. Okay? So you just need to multiply that out. You multiply these two, you multiply these two, and you add them, and then you multiply by 40. And that is the sum of the first 80 terms. The first term of an arithmetic sequence is negative 12, and the ninth term is 16. So I have the first term of the arithmetic sequence is negative 12. Okay, so u1 is equal to negative 12, and u9 is equal to 16. Calculate the value of the common difference. And you see that I marked this problem algebra because you need to use a little bit of algebra on this problem. Now, if you have problems with algebra, um, there's a lot of problems they might give you for arithmetic sequence that do not require algebra, and I'm sure you'll do fine on those. Now, if you are not good at algebra, just be careful to set it up and write everything you can before you start working on your algebra. Because if you try to skip steps, what's going to happen is you might make an algebra mistake, and not only are you going to lose all the points for the algebra mistake, but you're not even going to get credit for setting it up. So set it up before you start doing the algebra and make it clear that you know what you're doing and that the rest is just algebra. Okay? So here we have u1 equals negative 12, u9 equals 16. Calculate the value of the common difference. Well, unfortunately, there's 9 steps or 8 steps between u1 and u9, so it's kind of hard to calculate the common difference. So how can we figure out the common difference? Well, we do know u1 and u9. So we can use that equation u9 equals u1 plus n minus 1 times d. And we don't know d, right? But we do know u9 is 16. And we do know u1 is negative 12. And do we know n? Yeah, we do know n because u9 that's n. So it would be 8, right? N minus 1 is 8. So now we have an equation all set up. All we need to do is solve for d using algebra. Okay, so, and if you are going to go ahead and do this with algebra, make sure you write down every single step. I've been doing math for many years, but I always do because it's the only way to get all the algebra 100% correct. Okay, so you get 28 equals 8d, right, because these cancel out. And then you divide both sides by 8. So you have d equals 28 over 8, okay, which is actually reducible. You could put 14 over 4. Okay, and that is the end of page 2.